You ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on Broadway World or over here on the Broadway Podcast Network. And I've had so much fun this year teaming up with my friends over at The Tank. We've had everyone from the artistic director to the shows that have been there because I love the fact The Tank is the place where you can see new, original, daring works of art. No shade to all the other commercial places out here, but we don't need every movie made into a musical and a play. We need to see something new and original with some amazing new playwrights, directors, and actors out here in New York City. And it's as cheap. You can go see a show here for the amount of money that you would go get a value meal at Taco Bell. I mean, really, do you see how expensive this world is? We're not breaking the bank. And Astronauts Wanted is coming to The Tank. And we just go to thetanknyc.org, but we're going to find out all the details, all the scoop. It says multimedia. It says audience participation. It says also, so what is this show about? Playwright Heloise is here. Director Saki is here. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it up here together. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I was too scared to say your last name. So can you tell us, Heloise, will you tell us who you are, what you do for the show?
My name is Heloise Wilson, and I'm the playwright and one of the performers in the show, Astronauts Wanted.
And Saki, you're the director. And how do you say your full name, please?
Yes, my name is Saki Kawamura, and I'm director of the show.
So Heloise, you wrote this baby.
I did.
So tell us, where did you get this first idea, and what was the process like to get it on paper?
Yeah, it was actually kind of a non-linear process because I wrote a first version of the play in 2017. And we did a workshop / almost full production at Dixon Place. It was the same characters, the same idea, but a very different version of the script. And the script is inspired by the Mars One Project, which is this really strange startup that wanted to send the first volunteers to Mars. So people like you and me, with no skills whatsoever, applied, and they had a selection and all these tests and everything. And I think they narrowed down to 100 people. And then they went bankrupt because it was a crazy project. And one of the component of the project was that they wanted to fund the mission because they didn't have backup from NASA or whatever, any of the space agencies. They wanted to do a reality TV show. So that happened, I think, early 2010 or something like this. So 2017, they were right in the middle of it. So that's when I wrote the first script based on that. And then they went bankrupt. And then obviously we know what happened in terms of space exploration and certain people claiming the right to that and all the millionaires and stuff. And so the landscape had changed a lot. So I rewrote the scripts based on how things had evolved. So this version that The Tank is a completely different version of this first script. Yeah.
It sounds timely and fun and shady, and all I read the shade through your conversation about the world we live in and about space exploration for sure. Mm-hmm. Saki, how did you first come to hear about it, and then how did you become the director of this piece?
Yes, Heloise and I worked on another project, another beautiful play that she wrote, American Standard, at one of the company that I belong, Rengyoso, which is a physical theater company, Buto theater company. So it's not a really, very traditional theater work, but I found her through the playbill. So we did the reading together, and I just fell in love with her writing. It's so beautiful. I truly believe that she can bring something very special and very beautiful in the world. So I just fell in love with her as a collaborator in the beginning. And then I knew that she has this project for a while. And then we were trying to find a place for actually both Astronauts Wanted and then also American Standard. And then I got a text one day from Heloise that she got this opportunity at The Tank and I would you direct. So
Did you say you found her in the playbill?
Yeah, she applied for that reading through the playbill. So you got to check the playbill, guys. There's opportunities happening.
That there's a lesson there about reaching out and saying you want to work with somebody or do something. And then there's a lesson in being your own yes and doing it. Heloise, have you always been a writer? Have you always been ready to create your own projects to put out on stage?
Yeah, I started as an actor, that's what I trained to do. And then in my early 20s, I had to figure out away to stay in the US after like studying, at acting school. And one of the ways was to like go back to school, but I wasn't exactly sure that I wanted to do that. And I still don't know how it happened, but I got into Brooklyn College and I got for the playwriting program, which is kind of a big deal. And I got a full scholarship. And so that's how I kind of like became a playwright by accident. But then I took it seriously.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because I think in artistry nowadays, everybody has to wear a lot of hats. Like you being a writer and being an actor, you get to then create the characters and worlds you want to live in. That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, and it also I think as an actor, like you have to be able to do different things, even in terms of like the type of acting that you have to do. Otherwise, you cannot really survive in this industry because it's so hard to just like wait for bookings or wait for your agent and stuff. So like being a writer allows me to like be kind of proactive in terms of the direction that I want to take with my career. But being a writer is very lonely. So being an actor like counteracts like that loneliness.
I love that. Absolutely. That's so people out here, young actors, artists, directors, put in the work, make something, create something. Saki, you being a director, when did you know you wanted to? Are you an actor, or have you always been ready to tell people what to do?
I was an actor first. I am originally from Japan. I was an actor. I was actually a musical theater actor. And then I was also a dancer for a long time. But when I was on stage and as an actor, I was like, I'm thinking about how I can move the scenic pieces. I'm thinking about how this blocking should be not this, but that. So I noticed that I'm seeing a little bit more bigger picture than everybody else. So that's how my interest in directing started. I was just being a normal college student, but when I was doing job hunting, I was like, oh, I really don't want to regret my life choice. So I decided to apply for a grad school because that was kind of the only way that I was able to come to the state. So yeah, somehow I got in and I'm still here.
Well, you're at the Tank now, and you've got a show running in New York City, so let's go. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Heloise, you wrote this, and writing is a very personal thing, just like performing it is very personal, and you have your own ideas, and you see it in your head in a certain way when you're writing it. Then you meet up with a cast of actors, and you meet up with a creative team like Saki, who directs it, and you have to kind of marry the two thoughts about her ideas and your ideas and everyone's ideas together. So what's the collaborative process so that you all get to be a part of putting this together?
I had to do a lot of rewrites, I think, because I was, acting in it as well. Like usually I would just like do all of this like outside of the rehearsal room, but we would find out with Saki together and with the rest of the creatives and the cast, like what worked, what didn't work. And so I had to do a lot of rewrites, like kind of fast in a way outside of the room, which I think is good because then you're like really in contact with the material and with the direction of the directors. It was a text that was like moving a lot, and Saki recommended to move around some scenes, and so like she was really, really involved in terms of like the structure of the play and making sure that the play was working, because it's not really a linear play, so it can be very complicated. So we have to kind of take the audience by the hand a little bit. So Saki was really, really involved in this, and that's how I like to work as well. I don't really like to work like just by myself.
I love that. Saki, what you have to take into account the fact that this is her baby and she's also up on stage. So how do you work with her as the playwright head, and then the artist actor head, and then the rest of this amazing cast that you have up on stage?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I do remember I always say Heloise as a writer or Heloise as an actor when I give a question in the room. But as a writer, Heloise is very flexible, and I hope that I'm not taking advantage of it. But the great things about that collaboration is we always talk about what's the intention of the lines, what the core of the line, what is very important to her as a writer personally, and then also what the audience needs to know. So we always not only like that line doesn't make sense or not, but we always talk about what the intention behind the line. So I think that was the key of the successful collaboration, I would say, because we always come back to, why do I have to tell this story? Why do we have to say this line with this intention?
I love that. I want to work with you all. So Heloise, what is the reason for this show? What do you hope that people get out of it? Why should we come? What is the message? Who's it for?
It's a very universal message because it is about pushing our own limits and limitations and exploring something that hasn't been done before. Obviously, we're using space as an excuse, and I think most people have this kind of collective childhood dream of going to space or this like fascination. So we're tapping into something that is like deeply intimate for most people, at least. But it's also an excuse to talk about other things that are difficult to talk about, like our relationship to family, our relationships, our sense of home, identity, being in between places, and our collective political responsibility. So these are the themes, and my hope is that a thread is going to be, I guess, created between the audience and us, where they can kind of use it as an exploration of their own sense of intimacy with the world, basically, and their own like fragility and vulnerability when it comes to these like big questions. Yeah.
Big tackling questions, but I'm sure it's a very entertaining, multimedia, interactive, fun. Like you have to be doing it in a way that I'm sure you're going to leave. Saki, how did you make sure that uh, you have big topics? You have a crazy world we're living in. That the world is on fire in many ways, and then people are going to spend their money and come have an enjoyable evening out. So how do you marry between the message and the entertainment? Like it's got to be a hard line to walk sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great question. We often break a fourth wall in this play, and I really sometimes I have a little bit of strong reaction about breaking a fourth wall all of a sudden in the middle of the scene. So we made sure the intro of the play is very smooth in terms of interacting with the audience and bring it to the TV show is the very basic structure of this play. So how to how to bring it more personally to the audience was one of my big questions. So yes,
It's going to be good, people. It's playing right now. You guys are up. It's up, and I
yeah,
want people to know while we're talking that you can get your tickets. It's running. It's running as we speak. You have till April 27th, so you better run and get a ticket. So that's really exciting. And tickets are, like I said, I love the Tank because they don't break your bank. Everyone could afford a ticket to go see a show at the Tank.
that's
So
right.
Eloise, what's it been like that it's been up? You meet people after the show, people that you know have come and seen it. So what has the response been since you've put it up?
It's very moving. We see people crying a lot during the play. And a lot of people tell me that they think about the play for days after that, that they really, because we follow three astronauts and they're all very, very different. And they all have different backstories in terms of their personal lives when it comes to like loving someone with depression, divorce, or like taking care of a sick parent, or like having difficulties with your family, things like that. So I think there are themes that people can really like relate to. So I've had a lot of people tell me this reminds me of my relationship with my dad, or this reminds me of my relationship with my wife, or whatever. Like the people I think recognize themselves a lot in the play and tell me that it has some very deep themes, which is what we wanted to do, I think.
I love that. So that sounds like a good night to me. Saki, when you have this cast, would you like to tell us a little bit about the people besides Eloise that are up on stage?
Absolutely. The cast is incredible. Also, I would say very international. I myself as Japanese, Eloise is French. We have also a Mexican actor. We use a lot of language in the play, which is very exciting for me. And then also the design team were so excellent. I had a great collaboration with them. It's not the biggest theater. It's not the Broadway theater, to be very
Right.
honest, and then to do this tech heavy show was one of our challenge in 3 days. Like we had to take the show in 3 days. But I think they did a great job, great communication. So I hope that you can enjoy the design aspect of the show as well.
So Eloise, what does it mean to be at the Tank? I mean, like, would they give the opportunity in the space, but their whole mission, like the whole mission of what they do there, what's it meant for you as a playwright and as an actor?
It was a huge milestone for me to be able to do this, and specifically to be part of the core like production season. It's something that I've always wanted to do as a playwright. Obviously, outside of the resources that they give us, that it's like impossible to have these resources like anywhere else. But just when I moved to New York, like 15 years ago, I would go to the Tank and like dream of doing work there because it was like bold and insightful and like crazy, and it looked like me. It wasn't necessarily like the kitchen sink dramas on Broadway that I couldn't relate to. So I felt like I was kind of like working towards having this place as a home, and now it is my home. I know like all the corners. So yeah, it's a huge milestone for me as an artist, and I'm extremely like honored that they took a chance on us. Yeah.
And what about you? What about you, Saki?
Yes, I always talked to the cast about this, but it's very, very special as a young artist to have the 4 weeks run in New York. It's very hard. Usually you have the same amount of prep and then just do 3 days of the show. So we are just so grateful for this opportunity and to be able to share the work for a month. It's very special.
Absolutely. TheTankNYC.org. You can get your tickets and make sure you make a night and head over and see it. Eloise, how does somebody get a show at the Tank? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, they have submissions, I think twice a year, something like this. They do have different programs. They have one where you can do a co-production with them. It has a little bit like they offer like a little bit less resources for that, but usually the run is like 4 days or something like this. It's really ideal for a workshop or like a one-person show or something like that. And then they have the co-production program where you basically apply via the website, and then they offer like a month run and all these resources and stuff. So yeah, I had known Megan for a few years now, and I had a lot of friends who perform at the Tank, so I was really excited to apply, and that's how we got in with the project.
So Megan's fancy now. She wins awards. She gets all this grant money. Fancy. Her idea about what art should look like in New York City is so innovative.
I love it.
I love it. Same. Agreed. So kudos to them and kudos to y'all because they are putting on some of the best shows over at the Tank. So Saki, you're telling us, get a ticket, grab a loved one, a friend, a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, and come see the show.
Oh, absolutely. Especially your loved ones or somebody you're important. Let's, definitely bring those people.
Heloise, how can we stay up to date on what's the next show, the next event? Are we on social media? Can we follow you? Tell us.
Yeah, my website is heloisewilson.com, Instagram Heloise Wilson. Send me. I love when people send me messages after seeing the show. It means so much to me, makes me so happy. So if you found it and you like it, message me.
And Saki, how about you?
Yes, my Instagram is saki.kawamura. My website is sakikawamura.com. So yes, please send us a message.
And we'll put all that information below us if you're listening to us and not seeing their beautiful faces and watching us on social media. But if you're listening to us on a podcast, make sure you look below and we'll click the links and all the information will be below us. And you have everybody. You only have this month. You better run and get a ticket. Go get a ticket. You have till April 27th. We're all just going to go over to thetanknyc.org. Thank you both so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great legs. Have an amazing run.
Thank you.
I have to head over to the Tank and come see y'all because I got to see this show.
Yes, please.
I'm scared to go to space. I don't like heights. So
you can be in the back of the spaceship.
Oh.
That's
okay.
True.
I'm going to need a lot of Xanax. That's what I'm going to need. Congratulations to both of you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.